If anybody ever says, how can you reduce your sodium intake very easily? And how can you reduce your sugar intake very easily? I have the answer for you. And it's very simple and straightforward. So I really enjoy food, and I'm sure you've heard that exact comment a lot from a lot of people saying, oh, I can't eat healthy because I love food. Well, guess what? I love food too. So I'm going to tell you how I can eat delicious tasting food and still remain healthy.
12 seconds later.
And in fact, I have reduced my sodium content probably by about 7 grams a day using the
Flashback.
5 quick tips, how to be healthy, how to stay lean, and eat delicious food year-round. Hey everybody, good morning, buenos dias, buongiorno. I don't know how to say good day in any other ones. Bon dia. I don't know. Anyway, quick video by special request to you. So welcome to the More Joel Hansen Food Channel. If you're not familiar, my name is Joel Hansen. I am a quote-unquote professional eater, and I advocate for health and lifestyle to suit, let's say, a healthy individual for longevity. I want us to live happy, healthy lives, being pain and injury-free, sickness and disease-free, and let's just say being the best versions of ourselves we can be. So I was recently asked about 50 times, hey Joel, do you have any tips for staying lean and healthy year-round? And the answer is yes. So there are many factors that goes into this, everything from genetics to lifestyle to habits to the list goes on. But I'm going to give you, let's say, 3 main kind of quick fixes of how I remain lean and healthy year-round in the kitchen. And then I'm going to give you, let's say, 2 outside of the kitchen as well. So to start, I'm not going to try to sell you on a supplement. I'm not trying to sell you some weird like fitness program or anything. These are just honestly true little tips that have actually really helped me, and I'll explain how. So I really enjoy food, and I'm sure you've heard that exact comment a lot from a lot of people saying, oh, I can't eat healthy because I love food. Well, guess what? I love food too. So I'm going to tell you how I can eat delicious tasting food and still remain healthy. So first off, guys, the first tip I am going to say is tip 1, cook for yourself. Now, again, this may sound easier said than done, and it actually is easier said than done. It's very easy to do, and you can still make delicious foods. The key is to take recipes and to take foods that you love to eat and modify them to a healthier version. So even if it's not 100%, the same as if you went to a restaurant, if you can get to 90%, that is very satisfactory. That satiates me to the moon and back. For example, I really enjoy sweet things, okay? So how can I have some sweet things in my life? So by preparing your own foods, you can really control what you put into them. Both areas of sweetness, both areas of, we'll say, sodium and or salt content, and even the fat content, which the sugar and the fat content really do help, let's say, to stay lean, and then the sodium potentially, although you do need some in your diet, can help with the health factor. So all you need to do is kind of learn to take your favorite recipes and change it a little bit. For example, I absolutely love broccoli salads. How do you make a broccoli salad? Well, generally it is broccoli, onions. Some people put bacon and cheese. Personally, I would recommend skipping them, but if you want to put that in, that's totally fine if your calories allow. But then 2 areas which we can immediately change in the recipe, which will equate to a same tasting end product, is in the dressing. Usually it's sugar and vinegar and mayonnaise. Well, guess what I can do? I can still use the vinegar. Vinegar's calorie-free. But I can use a sweetener. I'm a big sucralose fan. This is pure sucralose. This is the same ingredient they use in Splenda, but I use a sweetener. And you can use a Miracle Whip or a light mayonnaise to greatly reduce the amount of calories. So what we've done is we've made it sugar-free, and we've greatly reduced the amount of calories in the actual dressing. So we've greatly reduced the amount of calories in the actual broccoli salad. So you went from probably having like 200 calories in the smallest handful because you had a lot of fat and a lot of sugar, to probably being able to eat a whole bowl for the same amount of calories. Another area that I always do is I love to make a Thai green curry. Thai green curry, where does a lot of the calories come from? All the coconut milk, and then there's a lot of added sugar. Well, guess what? I use the same thing. I use my sweetener, and then I just greatly reduce the coconut milk. The flavor is still at 80 to 90% of the exact one as if I went to a restaurant, so I'm very happy and I'm very satisfied with it. So now that you kind of have a reason as to why you should make your own food again, so you can modify recipes to make them healthier and or fit your diet better, and again, health is a very subjective. I'm just using these terms broadly. Another area that I wanted to address for myself was my high sodium content. I probably consume minimum of 10 grams of sodium a day, which is quite a lot. And while I do exercise and sweat it out, I've never had any high blood pressure issues. I can take my blood pressure right now. It's probably like 120/60. That's about my average, at least over the past couple of weeks. I still felt it would be a bit beneficial to reduce my sodium intake at least a little bit. So a big way that I did that, so I'm not adding salt to my food, is I have a potassium chloride. This is the same, we'll say, ingredient they use in like the half salt, the fake salts, the salt substitutes. Basically, your table salt is sodium chloride. This is potassium chloride. So what it is, while it is still different, one, it's potassium. It's not salt. Potassium is actually very good for your blood pressure. It's very good for your general health in a lot of metrics. Of course, if you're on any kind of, we'll say, renal diet, and or you are on certain medications, you can't consume high amounts of potassium. Use it in moderation. Obviously, that's up to yourself to identify. But for the average individual, to use some potassium salts is actually a healthier option than the salt. Not only to reduce your sodium intake, but potentially reducing blood pressure and helping you stay hydrated and lots of other things. So the way I add that is I just add that as I would my salt. And it very much mimics salt in the mouth. So if you were to take a tablespoon of salt and eat it like this, and a tablespoon of the potassium chloride, eat it like this, they taste different. But when you put it, let's say you're having a steak, and instead of sprinkling your salts all over it, you use the potassium chloride.
This is it's a potassium, like a salt substitute, but you could use regular salt. I just do this to reduce my sodium intake a little bit.
It does mimic the taste of salt in your mouth and mimic the feeling that salt gives. It's an exciting ingredient. So again, might not be 100%, but it's about 80 to 90%. And in fact, I have reduced my sodium content probably by about 7 grams a day using the potassium chloride. So, if anybody ever says, how can you reduce your sodium intake very easily? And how can you reduce your sugar intake very easily? I have the answer for you. And it's very simple and straightforward. These ingredients are also not expensive. Again, for example, instead of using all the little packs of Splenda, I buy a pure sucralose. This stuff is so sweet. I'm going to show you how concentrated this is. So this, and again, you can get many brands. You can get it off Amazon, you can get it off Lazada and other places. See this little scoop right here? That little scoop, that little measurement scoop. They say that is 40 milligrams. They say that is about the same as I think it's a cup of sugar. This is 600 times sweeter than than sugar itself. So if you ever want to read the ingredients on a pack of Splenda, it's going to say like dextrose, so they actually use regular sugar as the main ingredient, and then you'll see sucralose, and it'll be like 0.011 milligrams or micrograms or something like that. So it just goes to show. But yeah, very cheap to get the potassium, very cheap to get a sweetener. You can use any sweetener you want, and there you go. Those are my 3, we'll say, kitchen tips to stay lean and healthy. So 1, prepare your own meals and modify your recipes. 2, substitute where you use sugar for a sweetener, at least that's what I do. And again, this, like, using your sweetener extends outside of recipes. It extends to coffees. You can even add it on fruit. You can add it On vegetables, you can add it anywhere you want. And same for the potassium. Use it anywhere you would salt. So instead of salting my food for hours, dumping salt out, I use some potassium. All right, so hopefully that was simple and straightforward. 3 quick, easy tips and changes, especially the sweetener and the potassium. I understand cooking can be a bit more, it's not hard, and it's actually not that time consuming if you cook the way I do. I can cook anything very easy, and the amount of food I eat and the great quality food I eat and the recipes I make, people love. I work with a lot of clients through nutritional counseling, and it just like simple small things. People are like, one of the most common feedback I always get is like, wow, I just got bored. Like, I'm bored of eating. I don't want to eat chicken and rice. I'm like, you don't have to. I'm like, what? And then they're like shocked that they can eat all these amazing tasting foods. I digress. 3 in the kitchen, we'll call them, and lifestyle. Because again, your sweeteners and potassium, so I take little bags with me everywhere I go. So I go to restaurants, I say, hey, I don't want sugar in that, I don't want salt on that. But my French fries or whatever, I have my potassium. I don't want sweetener in my coffee, I add my sweetener. So nonetheless. Outside the kitchen, this is something I would totally recommend. Now, this is a habit that's a little harder to do, but I do daily cardio. I myself do, well, honestly, it's probably about 30. Yesterday was about 80 minutes, but generally 30 to 60 minutes of cardio every day. It can be as simple as walking the stairs, like say you have a lunch break at work, you just walk up and down the stairs for 30 minutes. Or 60 minutes or whatever. So you don't have to have necessarily equipment. You don't have to go to a gym. You can go run outside. You can go to a gym and do your cardio. You can, let's say, do things like maybe you play hockey, maybe you play a sport. You can do all those, but 30 to 60 minutes is what I do. But even if you can just get in like 20 minutes of cardio a day, that's great. It's going to help keep everything flowing, keep your heart healthy, your blood's healthy, you healthy. It's going to keep you athletic, it's going to keep you functional, and it's going to help you to, well, either maybe modulate your weight and or at least be able to eat a little bit more. And the last recommendation, this is just overly simplistic, but it's true, is I definitely recommend some form of weight-bearing exercise for all individuals. Doesn't matter if you want to gain muscle, doesn't matter if you want to get jacked, it doesn't matter if you want to lose weight, gain weight, etc. Having weight-bearing exercise, aka like lifting weights in some capacity, as we age is very important, as it helps things just like maintain your bone health. It helps to, again, increase like cardiovascular function, etc. 5 quick tips, how to be healthy, how to stay lean, and eat delicious food year-round. So with that, guys, I hope you enjoyed that real quick video. If you guys want to hear or me talk about any specific comments, I would love to hear down below. We'll put it that way. I will read them, I will look at them, I will assess them. And for the record, if you don't like artificial sweeteners, I don't care. I do. They're the best thing ever. So that, guys, till next time, stay happy with hunger, happy eating. That, let's go eat the world.
Hey, guess what? You rock. Yes, you rock. Thank you so much for watching the video. I totally appreciate it. I hope you left me a comment down below. I'd love to read them. I hope you also liked that video. Hey, by the way, click my face. You can subscribe. Yes, subscribe. That way you always get my uploads. You won't miss me when I'm in your town. And I also picked 2 videos for you. Yes, 2 videos I know you'll love right here. So watch one of those, hit my face. And at that, thank you so much. You rock.